Hi, this is Mark Frechette from Georgetown County School District, and this is the last video in our series of how to create a choose your own adventure story using Stop Animotion. And the apps that students were using in this were Google Drawing to set up their graphic organizer and write the story, and they were also using Google Slides in order to take the pictures for their stop motion animation. And what they did is they also used an app called Loom in order to record those stop motion animation slides and put voice behind it and do the script. And then finally, we're going to use Google Slides to create the final story and the final draft of this. And so I'm going to open up an example of one that I have that's created just so you can see this. And again, here is an example of the Google drawing that we made earlier, and this time all I did was I added in mine and color-coded it the slides, just so you can kind of see the paths that the reader would take. So in this, if they read the story introduction, they could choose choice A or choice B, and for this I'm going to pretend that I was choosing choice A. I would then go to slide 2, and there would be a video on this, a stop motion animation on this slide. It would then proceed to slide 3, where the story would continue, and then the reader would be presented with choices again. It would be choice A1 or choice A2, and for this, if I chose A1, again, it would take me to a stop motion animation video, and then after that video is played, it would have the reader choose again of whether or not they wanted to end the story and go to the last slide right here, or they would simply choose start over, and then they could choose a different path. So with this, here's a quick example of a slide. And one thing I'll show you too is you can see in this, there's a total of 14 slides. But essentially all you're doing is creating 4 different slides and then reusing those same slide templates. So it's not as complicated as you would think. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to choose a story that we had put together. And with this, I'm going to go ahead and hit present just so you can see the choices. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and always choose the option on this side. So when I hit present, you'll see, again, this is the introduction. Here's the title. Here's an introduction. The reader can go through and read. If they click on this, it would take them to a stop motion animation, which would play automatically. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. They would then go to the next slide. They would continue reading. And then again, they could go ahead and they could click on an option here. They would see this option. It would automatically play. And then they could go to the next one and it would say, congratulations, you've read the end. Now what? I could either end the story by clicking here or choose start again and choose a different path. For this, I'm just going to go to end the story, and it says thank you for reading this Choose Your Own Adventure. So again, that's kind of what an overview looks like of these 14 slides. So now I'm going to show you how to go ahead and how to create those. So with that, what I would suggest is you can create a new slideshow, and I'm going to assume that the people watching this know how to create a new Google slide. So with that, I'm going to show you the template that I use. So essentially on slide 1, and I'm going to try to show you these side by side. So I'm going to split screen here. Okay, so with this, you can see here's our graphic organizer. And what I would suggest is that again, slide 1's always going to be the story introduction, and then the reader is going to be presented with choices that they're going to have to click and choose. So I would suggest taking one path and putting in all those stories first. So you can see if I go down through A and A1, and then I go to the end slide, this is kind of the pattern I would create. And then from there, I would come back and I would choose A2 results, create those 2 slides, and then I would come back up and I would create choice B slides and then B1, and then finally I would create B2 slides until I have all 14. So I'm going to show you how we'd set that up. And again, essentially you can see I have slide 1, which is my story introduction, and in this all I did was use the title. Again, I typed inside of it, and that's where you saw in the other example. I would go ahead and type in my storyline here. And then for choice A and choice B, all I did for this was I inserted text boxes. And on those text boxes, what I did was I then linked these. And I'm going to come back and explain how I link these buttons in a minute. You'll see slide 2 is, again, this is going to be a video that I'm going to insert on this that is the result of the reader choosing this. And this is one of the stop motion animation videos that we created earlier and saved into our Google Drive. I'm going to show you how to go ahead and put that on that page in a minute. You'll see then that slide 3 is going to be where the reader is presented with choices. And this is going to say choice A1 or choice A2. So again, I would just, the same template basically as before. So you can see again 2 text boxes, and I'm going to show you how to link those. After that, choosing A1 would then take me to the last video, the stop animation video on this side that we had created earlier. And after they read that, it would take them to slide 5. So if I go down here to slide 5, you'll see that this is now where the reader is presented with choices. They can either end the story or they can start all over again. I'm going to follow this pattern all over again. So you can see there's not a ton of variation in these. On slide 6, if I look at my graphic organizer, this is going to be the video for A2. And then slide 7 would be where that reader is presented with the choices again. So end the story or start again. Then on slide 8, this is where I'm going to give option B results. So I'm just going to go here. And again, this is going to be the stop motion animation that was created right here for this choice. After that, the reader should be presented with choices, B1 or B2. And I'm going to go here. This is B1, choose B2 here. And then after that, if I choose B1, I would have slide 10 and slide 11. So a video response and then presented with choices to end or start. So if you see on 10, again, video results, slide 11, you're going to see here's choices, end the story, or begin. That means B2 choices should be slide 12 and slide 13 with the video and then the option to choose again. So if I just come down here, again, here's this. And then here on 13 is where they can end the story. The final slide is always going to be slide 14, and that's just basically where I essentially thank the reader for reading the story that I had. And we want that to end the slide so that way when they do choose end, it'll take them to the slide and they can exit the story that way. So hopefully none of this is too difficult as far as what you're going to do to create these options. The tricky part is how do we link these pages? So how do we link these buttons? And all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on choice A. And remember, if I choose choice A, I want to go to slide 2. So I'm just going to click on this and I'm going to right click and I can hit link. You'll see that, and mine's already linked. If I close this, it's going to say slides in this presentation. So I'm going to choose the slide I want to go to. Well, for this slide, it's slide 1. I want it to go, if it's choice A, I want it to go to slide 2. So I'm going to come down here to choice A result. I'm going to click on that and hit apply. I would do the same thing here on choice B. So I would go ahead, I would right click, I would hit link, and I'm going to delete this just so you can see the process again. Remember, this is going to take me to choice B, which according to our rubric over here would take me to slide 8. So I'm going to go ahead and link this then to slide 8, which will say choice B. And I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. I'm going to do this on all of these other pages that have options. I would refer back to this in order to make sure you're linking them up to the right slides. The next thing you're going to need to do is when you get down to, say, this slide, the first slide, slide 5, where they have an ending or start over, I'm just going to essentially, with the end of the story, I'm going to link this the same way I did before to the last slide. The start over again, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to link this to go to the first slide. So again, hopefully you see that this is how the order I'm going to set it up in, and again, the template I kind of use. Now the next tricky part is really, essentially, is inserting the video, and it's not that hard at all. Because if you recall on the other videos, what we did is after we created them in Loom, we downloaded them into our Google Drive. So I know where they're all located. I just have to make sure the right video gets on the right page, and that's where I would refer back to my script. For this, we're just going to pretend that I know exactly what video I'm going to insert for choice A. So I would come to the slide, and now what I'm going to do is up here where it says insert, I'm going to go ahead and hit insert, and I'm going to go to video. It's going to give me a couple options. Well, mine's in my Google Drive. So then what I'm going to do inside my drive is I have right here several of the videos, and I titled them of the stop motion animation videos that I put. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and select this video and put it in there. And this is where, again, I know that I can go ahead and I can center this. If you want to resize this, you can, again, grab the corners, go ahead and resize this so that it fits. And then there's one more step, and I'm actually going to go full screen on this. Once I insert the video, I want this to play automatically. So I'm just going to click on the video, and you'll notice that format options are up here. I'm going to click on format options, and right here where it says video playback, I'm going to click on this. Ooh. And for some reason, mine's not coming up. Yours should, and when it does, you're just going to click on this, autoplay when presenting. So you'll just click that. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do this whole process one more time on another slide, and I'm going to choose a different video this time. So I'm going to come down to 4, and this is where I would insert A1 result. So with that, I'm going to do the same process. Come up to insert, go to video, I'm going to click on my drive, and then for this one, let's say that it is Mort Wakes Mickey. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And again, I can essentially center this and go ahead, and resize it. And then what I'm going to do is when I'm done, again, if you don't see these options, just click on your video. You'll see format options. You can click on that. And then you should have video playback. And then what you're going to do is, again, of course, mine is not highlighted, but yours will be. Click on autoplay when presenting, and then you can just close out, and it will be there. So again, essentially, that's how you're going to set up all of these where you need to put the video. Just be sure to refer to your graphic organizer in your story to make sure that you're putting the corresponding videos, stop motion animation videos, on your project. And when you're done, that's where your readers, you can always test it out by hitting present. And again, you go in presentation mode. I would click on the beginning, go to present, and that's where I would test out my own, read through it, click on the options, go through. Go through, and I'm not going to make you watch my video. Go through each one, click on the options, and make sure that everything aligns. So again, good luck making your choose your own adventure stories using Google Drawings to go ahead in the initial planning phases and the writing phases, using Google Slides to go ahead and capture the stop motion animation pictures, and then using Google Slides and Loom to go ahead and turn those pictures into an actual animation and put your voice behind it and the script behind it. And then finally, using Google Slides to create the final product. So good luck, and I can't wait to read your Choose Your Own Adventure story.